All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakakwadash. A double honors unto the elders and apostles of GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere Shalom to Yakim bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. And now, as you see, it says China triples uranium imports from Russia. And this is, also due to the ban that America just put on Russia, And what we see is with the U.S. withdrawing from the 12%, that they 12% of uranium enriched that they were getting from Russia. It now gives other countries the ability to gain more uranium for their defense and attack. Right. So here it is. China triples uranium imports from Russia. So Moscow previously banned the export of strategically important nuclear fuel to the U.S. Says Beijing, and also, Biden signed over that deal and that law, that legislation, decree, basically, to, implement this as well, right? It says Beijing is poised to become the largest importer of Russian nuclear fuel this year, following Moscow's ban on enriched uranium exports to the U.S. in retaliation for Washington's selective restrictions. Over the past 10 months, China has purchased $849 million worth of enriched uranium for Russia, a 3.2-fold increase compared to the same period last year, according to the customs data analyzed by RIA Novosti. In October alone, its imports doubled from September, reaching 216 million. Right now, what I want to do is I want to get into the precepts, right? Because ultimately we understand, this is all for the waster to destroy, right? With the waster is what? The nuclear missiles, right? This is Isaiah 54:16, and it reads, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work." And that smith, it was one in the ancient days that would take, your ore from your iron and create, whether it be tools, whether it be weapons, armor, so forth and so on, which were all things dedicated in either for agricultural purposes or for war, man, right? So it says, "And I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, that bringeth forth an instrument for his work." And we understand what? They're creating the weapons. Your modern day smith, your blacksmith is your chemist, your nuclear physicist, right? And I have created the waster to destroy. And when you read it in the NLT, it says, "I have created the blacksmith who fans the coals beneath the forge and makes the weapons of destruction. And I've created the armies that destroy." Well, the KJV is better because the weapons of destruction is what's going to destroy, right? Hence the waster, right? Now, with them putting this much money towards, their nuclear arsenal. As a matter of fact, I'm going to grab it out of the book of Joel. Salakia. One second. I know it's in Joel. It's here it is. This is Joel 3. And I'm going to start here at 9. "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords." So here it is. Your tools of agriculture are now being used, or your money allocated towards agriculture is now being used towards war, right? It says, "And your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong." So now all these nations are gearing up militarily and being strengthened due to the fact that they're being supplied by Russia, by China, by North Korea. And the scriptures speak about how Russia is going to be a guard into those, smaller countries, right? In Ezekiel the 38th chapter. Continuing, it says, "Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, thither to cause thy mighty ones to come down," right? So we understand according to prophecy, as the scriptures say, "All ye that bend the bow shoot at her, spare no arrows," right? So just to get back to this, it says, South Korea has also increased its purchases to 650 million over the same period, becoming the second largest importer of nuclear fuel from Russia. And it makes sense, they're all right in the same area, right? It says the U.S., which was Russia's main customer last year, has reduced its purchases by almost a third, importing $574 million worth of Russian nuclear fuel in 9 months, dropping to third place. Now, the thing is, and with America basically putting that sanction on, really it was a bad move, but it was on themselves, which is ultimately they now have to try to bypass a way to still obtain that Russian uranium, which I believe the act of the law comes into play in 2025 or 26. But nevertheless, they still feel the hit. So like, yeah. Right, and then them doing this or trying to find another suitor for uranium, what they've come to the agreement of here in the States is that they're going to build their own nuclear facilities, right? Because the only nuclear, exporting, or the only nuclear uraniums, like it, the only uranium mining is done in New Mexico here, right? And the thing is, the uranium that we have here, there's two processes to breaking down this uranium, man. You actually have to, mine it yourself, but you have to enrich that uranium to be used, or to be able to be used in the nuclear reactors that we have here in the States. But the thing is, the uranium we mine here is not compatible to the reactors that we have here. So they plan on building more reactors in the country in order to mine the new uranium that they're trying to process and enrich, right? Which is going to take time, which just shows that with all that time being taken, the other nations are getting stronger, right? America has been using this missile, or the sword, as the scripture says here in the book of Jeremiah, the 50th chapter. And so, the hammer of the earth. It's Jeremiah 50 and verse 20. Now, I'm going to start at 21. 1 second. Yeah, I'm going to start at 21. This is Jeremiah 50 and 21. And it reads, go up against the land of Marithium, right? Which that word Marithium goes into double rebellion, which is just a synonymous for America. Even against it and against the inhabitants of Pekod, waste and utterly destroy them, saith Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. A sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? Right? And Babylon is that hammer. Because what does it use? It uses that brute force, or that power to scare, all the nations across the earth, man. Right? They seen what happened to Hiroshima and Nagasaki with Fat Man and Little Boy. These nations have seen that when it comes to destruction, America has no problem either supplying other countries with the ability to destroy, or doing it themselves. They look at the constant bombing in the Middle East. That's all done by America, or funded by America, whether it be proxies or themselves doing it. But it says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? And it's because Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has allowed these weak nations to now say they are strong by having that same gun, right? It says, how has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. 25, the Lord hath opened his armory, which is what armory is basically a stash for weapons, right? And the weapons that the Lord is speaking of are his missiles. It says, and he hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. So let's go back here. It says, earlier this year, Washington announced a ban on purchasing Russian low-enriched uranium, but allowed the Department of Energy to issue waivers until 2028. So like I said, 25, 26, it's 28. It says, in cases in which no alternatives exist, or if the shipments are deemed in the U.S. national interest. In 2022, Russia was America's top foreign supplier, providing almost a quarter of enriched uranium that fuel U.S. commercial nuclear reactors, right, for energy and for war, says according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. In response to Washington's restrictions, Moscow banned enriched uranium exports, right, because of different levels. The isotopes of 235, and 238 are used for different purposes. It says, in response to Washington's restrictions, Moscow banned enriched uranium exports to the U.S. last week, including shipments to other countries under foreign trade agreements with entities registered within America's jurisdiction. It says exceptions will be made only for supplies under one-time licenses approved by the Federal Service for Technical and Export Control, and only if they align with Russia's national interests. Basically being said that they're at the mercy of Russia when it comes to, bringing forth or sending forth uranium into this country, which is funny, because the same nation in whom, you're supplying uranium to is going to be the same nation that you're going to destroy, man. that I find that very beautiful how Yahweh Shimon Shah set that up, right? Because here it is, America boasts of its army, of its military strength, its might, but at the same time, you're receiving, the key ingredient to destruction from your enemies. This is Psalm 7:13. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors, which we know modern day arrow is your missile. And ultimately that missile is going to be sent. Those missiles are going to be sent over here. Behold, he travaileth with iniquity and hath conceived mischief and brought forth falsehood. This is how he gets down. It says he made a pit and digged it and is falling into the ditch which he made. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. And that's ultimately because Yahweh Shema Shah is sick with this place. Read Revelation, the 18th chapter, speaking of the destruction of America, man. Right? It says Russia hosts the world's largest uranium enrichment complex, accounting for almost half of global capacity, right? Moscow's share of the enriched uranium market is estimated to be around 40%, with an export value of $2.7 billion. So here it is. Russia is one of the top dogs in terms of making sure, countries can actually get their sword. Right? That also shows you how strong militarily Russia is. Even though we understand they're now on the same level as the U.S., due to just the U.S. Allocating so much money to their nuclear program, their scientists in Russia still understand how to navigate and destroy, man. Yahweh Shema Shah put that in their spirits, right? It says President Vladimir Putin told a government meeting in September that some countries are happily stockpiling Russian resources and goods while imposing restrictions on the country. He suggested limiting exports of certain strategically important raw materials, including uranium, to the global market in response to Western attempts to block Russia's access to foreign-made process. So here it is now. Russia is saying, we're gonna hinder, the countries who are allies with America from receiving the goods, man, which is only gonna make those countries mad at America, right? Because if they're not able to obtain what they need for their defense, they're gonna leave or stop dealing with America all in all, right? But that's the point of the lesson, not to make it too lengthy. War, it's not stopping. Yahweh Shema Shah is increasing the spirit of war upon the earth. And in due time, the flames of the second death will be here. And Lord willing, we will be found worthy to escape those, right? So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the body. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Harakakwadash. I double honors unto the elders and apostles of GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere shalom to you, Akim, bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. Shalom.